Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 17th Annual Final Stage Podcast Games. We have a great lineup of selection of events for you this year. But first, the opening ceremonies where we do all the countries to come out and celebrate the great diversity that is this awesome event. First up is the Canadian teams. Full of a bunch of really nice people. They are next to America. After that is here comes the team from England. As you know, America succeeded from them many years ago. Next up is the Japanese team. As I'm sure you're aware, America are big fans of Japanese animation. Next up is America. Yeah. Americans everywhere! Oh my god, let's just stick on them for so much. Oh, here comes... who's that? Haiti? Who cares about Haiti? Let's stick on America for a little longer. Oh wait, who's that coming out? China? Who cares about them? Let's stick on America for even longer. Oh, wait, who's that? Swaziland? Oh, well, I guess it's now a good time to take a commercial break.
I see, you saw the Olympics in NBC.
Maybe I did. So, we'll be right back after these messages. For Arsenette, I am William, signing out.
For the record, I never know what he's going to open up with.
That makes it all the better.
Oh my god. This is literally the first year I did not see the Olympics.
Aww.
Yeah, I was sick as a dog. And now granted, I knew almost all the results because if you follow anything on social media, they'll even show you the videos.
Yeah, that's great. No, okay, so
I'm like, okay, so cool. I get to see the entire race. There we go.
So I guess you missed the part where during the March of the Nations, like Matt Lahr literally goes, up next is Swaziland, and now is a good time to take a break. It's like, dude. What is Swaziland?
No. Trust me, this was in the news. That how horrible it was, and how many faux pas between him and freaking Bob Costas and Al Troutwick and all those. Again, and I keep telling people that we're too young earlier to really pay attention to NBC editing. Mm. Now do you understand why I'm talking about NBC editing? This is a phenomenon that runs through that company. It doesn't matter what show they're doing, whether it's American Ninja Warrior or if it's the freaking Olympic Games. I mean, yeah.
By the way, I watched the version of the closing ceremonies that had no commentary at all. Mm-hmm. Infinitely better.
Yeah, I usually, every Olympics that I had ever seen before, I always watched somebody else's country. I always did. I didn't care if it was pirated. I could not see NBC's version. Just drives me insane.
Credit to NBC. At the very least, they did have the raw, uncommented version on their website. It took me like an hour to find it, but I did find it. So at least I could watch it in that version.
Did you need to sign in like you do?
I probably did. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have cable, so I can't sign in with my cable provider.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say it was
free television.
Didn't say it was good for you. It was just
it was good. Well, I remember when they had that. I think it was 2 Olympics ago, where you can see live sports, and you go by the sports and you just log into their website, and then you can see it that way, because a lot more people got to enjoy like gymnastics and stuff like that. I heard the fiasco with gymnastics where they decided to basically leave that to the end of the night, like almost midnight, and so like no one really got to see it in prime. It was just like, oh god. I'm like, yeah, NBC. And it was in our time zone. Like, you can't even complain that it's like with Russia, there was a 21-hour delay.
Like I can get that.
I can just like you can't.
Sorry, I meant
because if it ran at a reasonable, just show it live. It's running right now. No, we're delaying that for tomorrow because why? And then this one is like, oh god.
Well, I'll say this though. After watching the closing ceremonies, I cannot wait until the 2020 Olympics, because that means, because based on the closing ceremonies, the opening ceremonies for the Tokyo Games are going to be so off the wall amazing. I cannot wait. Yeah, they had the Prime Minister dressed up as Mario and come out of a war pipe, and that was a teaser for the games.
Oh crap! We're probably gonna get a copyright strike.
No, it's okay. No one can recognize it.
Trust me, YouTube will find it.
No, trust me. They're not that smart.
But yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's great.
I know they're God, they've been prepping like crazy. It's funny because when I was there, I know exactly where you're gonna have it, in Odaiba.
Hey.
Which is actually pretty cool, because I'm like, wait, that's why they bought all the land? Yep, so they bought all the land around that area. In fact, where they had Sasuke Park,
yes,
in that whole all of that's gonna be the Olympic Village.
So I have a question.
Yep.
Is it too late to get Sasuke in the Olympic Games?
You do not want Sasuke in the Olympic Games.
You never know.
And the answer is yes, it is too late.
Oh well.
In fact, they added climbing.
Hey, yes, I did see that, yes.
They added rock climbing.
Yes.
I know Yuji's interested. He goes, yeah, I want to do that for the Japan team.
Well, good luck with that. Actually, so funny story about Tokyo and the Olympics. Are you familiar with the movie Akira?
I'm very familiar with. I haven't seen it in ages, but yes, I am familiar with it.
So Akira, one of the most influential anime movies of all time, very popular in Japan. They
overhyped. Yeah.
They will not be showing that at all during their Olympic promotion due to it being a hard R for a reason. That movie takes place in the year 2019. And one of the last scenes of that movie takes place in the Olympic Stadium where Tokyo plans on hosting the 2020 Olympics. They called it.
Wow.
They totally called it.
Oh, it was every single time there was a like a Godzilla movie, there goes Tokyo.
Well, what's that building?
I forget where we were. There's a bunch of buildings where I was running around and somebody kept telling me, yeah, they blew that one up in this anime. That one was blown up in that anime. And this whole thing imploded. Like, oh god. So, I'm just praying, knocking on wood and everything that earthquake-wise, they're okay for the next 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's just... Oh my god, that always scares me. But yeah.
I imagine, barring natural disaster, I imagine the Tokyo Games are going to go much smoother than the Rio de Janeiro Games.
That was a natural disaster.
That's a different type of disaster.
Yeah, anyway, so...
How was your month, Arsenette?
It was my birthday.
Hey!
For the record, I am now 44.
What's that, 34? Wow, you're young.
Yes, I am 34, 10 years removed. Oh, God. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah. Everybody's like, oh my god. In fact, we were having a discussion on Twitter of all the different things because, Sasuke being the age that it is, and it was like, my marriage is actually longer than the existence of Sasuke.
Wow.
Yeah. By a few months, but still.
Yeah.
That was September of 1997, and I was married in May 1997. And then all the kids in SMF decided to make me feel really, really old, because most of them follow me on Twitter. And they're like, I was born in 1998. I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. He's like, hey, I was born in 1998 too. I'm like, oh dear God. I'm old enough to be their parent. This is scary. But then again, that's usually how it happens in the internet. Where
that's what happens.
The older you get, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a grandmom soon.
That's what happens when you get older. You find people who are younger than you.
Well, between that and my entire childhood is being decimated. 2016 has been horrible with obituaries.
Oh, right, yes. So
oh, Lord.
Wasn't sure what you were going with that one.
Well, it's like everything that I grew up with. I mean, freaking Willy Wonka just died.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah.
I prefer to know.
Health-wise, I've been, you know, good days, bad days. I almost was thinking in Spanish because whenever my dad asks me, and I only speak to my father in Spanish.
Yeah, you're going to completely lose
let me see that.
that.
Yes, I am. La misma vaina, diferente día, which is basically the same crap, different day. Just like, yeah, one day good, one day bad, yeah. And so, you know, it can't be that bad. Vlogs-wise, I did a couple. And people seem to like them.
Hey.
I've been noticing something different. And when I decided to switch from the blogs to the vlogs, obviously it's a different demographic because it's YouTube. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, you can't translate audio. Unless I do like
right, okay, I know what you're
close exactly. So people that were so used to taking my page and running it through the translator, they can't. So I know there's some pitfalls that goes with that. So I don't know. I'm still at the same time. I've gotten a lot of like, why don't you just do 30? Are you sure you don't want to do 31? Like, you have any idea how many people have already seen it? And it's, you know, it is technically coming back. It's just like, I don't need to do that, but then people have said that they like what I write, and sometimes I can get goofy with it. It's just, it's a lot of work, and I don't. We've talked about that last month, but yeah. So, but it was just an interesting thing seeing the different feedback from me changing from print to voice. So I actually didn't even think of that until it happened. So it's like, well, that makes sense because every single time, because I have a counter that runs behind the website that I don't like advertising how many people look at it. It's again, several million people have seen it. So, but when I like seeing who's reading it and how they're reading it, what pages they're going through, yada yada yada, and the predominant thing that people do is they run my page through the translators. You can actually see, you know, translate dot and then whatever country, you know, and then go from there. And so, in fact, I used to do that on purpose where when I first started to notice that people were doing that, I immediately started writing more slang just to mess with people. I've gotten some weird translations doing that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. So traffic hasn't really changed much, which is interesting. Either that or they're expecting me to like somehow write it again. I don't know. It's really weird. So yeah, that's basically been my month. It's been fairly quiet. I did another video, but we'll talk about that a little bit later because it's tied to another topic that we're running. So how was your month?
Glorious. Some people are going to get that. Anyway, so I went to...
It has to be wrestling.
It might be wrestling.
May or may not be wrestling. That's your first guess, and then I go from there.
Okay. So I went to Otakon again this year. It was
cool.
It was a lot of fun. Remember how you were like, "Oh, Anime Next, it's so hot." Otakon.
Did you forget?
Otakon blew that out of the water. Holy crap, was it hot?
Otakon usually does because Baltimore in August is oppressive.
No, don't like. Let me make this clear. This is the hottest Otakon ever.
It was 100 degrees.
Yes, it was ever. It's never been this hot at the convention before. It was insane. Oh man, it was really hot. The inside it was really cool. Thank God.
I'm checking what 100 degrees is on. Yeah.
But
let me check what 100 degrees is.
What I really liked is that
38 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, right.
There.
Yeah. So
I have a converter on my phone.
Saw a lot of cool panels. Saw some musical performances by Japanese people, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Is this the last year in Baltimore?
Yes, it is. Yes, okay. It is. It was a bit sad. Saw 2 surprise proposals from Otakon staff members at 2 different times.
Aww. That's cool.
I think the second one surprised me more, because, like, what are the odds you come across a second one in 2 days?
I would think that would be a place that people would.
It's just first and second time that happened, as far as I'm aware.
That's cool. Congratulations to whoever they were.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, they both said yes, so that's good.
Oh, that'd be awkward.
Oh, that'd be so awkward.
I have seen them. I have.
So whatchamacallit? I bought a bunch of anime, including Those Who Hunt Elves, which you recommended to me.
Enjoy.
I didn't buy Log Horizon because $65 for half a season is not something I'm willing to pay.
Really? Oh, you can get it so much cheaper.
I know. It's a bit. It was a bit pricey.
It also is fairly new,
yeah.
So I would give it a little bit of time.
So, funny story about Those Who Hunt Elves. So I bought the anime, and then I went to a panel called the Otakon Game Show. And if you ever go to Otakon, I highly recommend going to the Otakon Game Show. It is fantastic. Basically, they got 4 contestants competing in their game show. They have to actually qualify to be on the show. So there was a qualification quiz ahead of time. So it's not just like 4 random schlubs. These are 4 people who are like knowledgeable about anime and stuff. And one of the categories this year was anime premises, which is simply the format is they show you an anime, something that's like a bit more obscure than the latest greatest stuff.
Yeah.
And the question is what is the premise of this show? And it just so happens that one of the questions was, what's the premise of Those Who Hunt Elves? Now, what's great is that everyone in the audience can actually play along on their phones for a chance to win prizes. And so
cool.
When that question came up, I'm like, I know the answer to this one. Because I read the back of the box. So thank you for that. You got me 200 extra points.
Oh, cool.
Yes. I also went to a wrestling event called NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2. It's the same one I went to last year, but it's in 20...
I heard you had a great time.
I had a glorious time.
That's where glorious.
Yes. Yes. Let's just say that. I got to...
Thanks for the screenshots. They were cool.
Oh, yeah. That was...
Not the screenshots, just photos.
Yes.
Screenshots.
Yeah.
I took real life screenshots.
I wasn't going to do that at first, but then I couldn't help it because I'm just like, this is too cool. I gotta do this.
It was cool. I liked it.
The ability to, and also I got to witness the entrance of Shinsuke Nakamura, who is a big Japanese wrestler coming over earlier this year. Someone has a great entrance when everyone is singing their entrance song, but the song has no words.
Interesting.
Yeah. So during NXT, I saw a live violin performance, a conga line. Yeah, literally a conga line. And of course, I saw a man come down from the heavens while the entire world proclaimed that he is indeed glorious. And of course, I saw a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing 2 men.
Yeah.
Because it was Bayley's last match.
Because it's wrestling.
Yes. It was Bayley's last match in NXT because on Monday she got brought up to the main roster finally. So yay! Good for her.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I think people that have been following our podcast will actually know almost the entire history of Bayley at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, there actually is a Sasuke connection to this. So WWE likes to show people in the audience. It's like, oh, look at this famous person, or look at this other wrestler who's from the main roster in the audience watching the show. It's like, oh, hey, look, it's legendary Ric Flair, stuff like that. Well, at one point they're like, oh, look, it's Kota Ibushi in the crowd, and I
was gonna ask you whether or not Ibushi was there.
Yeah, so you see, Kota Ibushi is currently working for WWE in this special tournament that they're doing, which features a lot of people who aren't signed to WWE. And so to promote that, they had him and a couple of other people. And as some people might remember, Kota Ibushi competed in Sasuke 32 this year, where he made it to the rolling hill and then fell off. And so in the guessing game, he is credited as failing the rolling hill because his feet landed on the obstacle before he failed. Speaking of the guessing game,
nice transition there.
I put up the results of the Sasuke guessing game this year because I knew you were going to hound me if I didn't do it by the time we did this podcast.
Within a few hours of this.
I still did it.
Yes, you did it on time.
Yes. And
I can understand the go ahead and go through. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So there was 33 people who entered this time around.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge was having to rewatch Sasuke in order to figure out what obstacle people failed. More specifically, the first two obstacles.
Yeah.
Because I specifically said ahead of time that if your feet reach the rolling hill, then you're counted as failing the rolling hill, unless otherwise you are counted as failing the quad steps.
Yes.
So if someone undershoots and only say their upper half of the body hits the rolling hill,
they're trying to dive bomb into it.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Also, if their feet land on that safety mat, that doesn't count either because that's out of bounds.
No, I agree.
So I had to, and some of those angles did not make it easy on me.
Nope.
And Donald.
That's okay. Didn't make it easy on me when I was there.
Yeah. And so Donald M. correctly pointed out that me determining what obstacles where people failed in regards to those first two obstacles may have determined who won. I don't know if that's true because I didn't want to go through everyone's results and do what if scenarios because that's a lot. But I will say this though, he won.
That was funny because because the people have been writing more comments on the YouTube thread, which first of all, thank you. I like when there's
yes, agreed.
Interaction between us as opposed to just us talking to mics and nobody else listening. And so it was funny because it turned out funny that he was the one that brought it up.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be that he ended up being the champion. It wasn't because of that, but it was just so the irony.
Yeah. So he scored 147 points to 131 for the second place finisher.
So congratulations. Was it Donald?
Donald M.
Yeah. Macaulay.
Yes.
Yes, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
I wrote it down.
Hey. At least one of us is doing
that.
That
was funny.
Yeah. So
I did.
So speaking of Sasuke, it appears that we have a little bit more information about Sasuke's, more specifically, Ninja Warrior's grand return to United States television on Esquire TV.
Oh my God, it doesn't make sense.
This Labor Day weekend on Esquire. So
yes.
So it appears that I had this thought cross my mind when we were recording last month, but I didn't want to bring it up because I knew it was going to be a long show.
We almost 4 hours. Sorry about that.
Didn't want to talk any longer.
Yeah.
So it appears that Sasuke 1 is not going to be shown, and more than likely, the 3 Sasukes that had the Americans cut, which I want to say was 23, 26, and 27, are going to be unchanged, which disappointing. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It sucks that Sasuke 1's not going to be shown because that's such a.
Now, to be fair,
it's an hour long.
they're only doing. That's not the only thing.
Yeah.
It's just for the marathon,
Yeah.
but that's basically. I'm sure it's going to be back in their regular schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know what their regular schedule is going to be,
true.
and I'm sure at some point they're going to air it. But yeah. Now it's funny because that is one of the rare ones that I actually downloaded the G4 version, and that's introduced by Alison Hayslip. I went to check it a couple. Yes, Alison Hayslip starts she does an intro for it.
Oh.
Yeah, she does an intro for it. It's like, so we kept it with the same graphics and yada yada, and I hope you enjoy it. But it's introduced by Alison Hayslip in G4 with the G4 thing in the background, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, I miss it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember that.
So now I'm sure they're gonna, because they haven't touched anything else, you're gonna see G4 everywhere. I wish there were things that they fixed.
No. It's still going to be Yasushi Yamato.
Yeah. And of course, Nagano's boss is still going to be his dad.
Of course.
For the record, that is not his father. That's his boss. In fact, his father's name is Yasuke.
Hey.
Or was. Sad he's
still
3 years?
Still is.
Yeah.
Technically, it's still his name. It's just,
Yeah,
he doesn't use it anymore.
He's been passed.
Yes, that's that was a whole story. If one saw
yes, in fact, they'll come up in 29.
Probably.
I think it was Sasuke 29.
Yeah, kind of blends together sometimes.
So yeah, I know I've gotten a lot of responses about it because they're like, we'll finally get to see the Nagano retirement now that we're going to get it back. It's like, yeah, but that won't be until next year.
Yeah, because that's part of the new stuff.
So,
by the way,
because they said they were doing,
By the way,
I know where you're going with
by
that.
the way, so when they said that they were showing 7 seasons of Kunoichi,
and 26 of Sasuke.
Yeah, but more importantly, when they said they were showing 7 seasons of Kunoichi, I was under the assumption, and rightly so in my opinion, that they would not show Kunoichi 8 because, quite frankly, Kunoichi 8 sucks.
Yeah.
But instead, according to the schedules that we have, and so this could, who knows, this could change. Things could change. But right now,
it's whatever's listed on Zappa TV and TV Guide.
Yeah, that like I said, it could change. But right now, it looks like that the Kunoichi they're not going to show is Kunoichi 6, which
is one of the best ones.
But more importantly, that means they actually are showing Kunoichi 8, which is like, what?
And of course, finally, people get to see that there were 2 champions in the same tournament that were named champions without any of the problems that happened in ANW.
But it sucks.
I know it sucks, but we'll get to see Asami again.
Heck, that's true. So,
Asami is Makoto Nagano's wife.
Yeah, she's
current wife.
Yeah. Actually, technically, that means we got to see Nagano because he was in both 7 and 8 on the sidelines.
They were in 5 too, right?
Maybe.
With his sister.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was 5 with his sister, 7 with some woman that is his friend, and 8 was with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Even though 8 sucks.
I honest to goodness believe that 8 would not have been as bad had it not held the Kunoichi name. We've had that discussion, I don't know, especially ad nauseum at that point. If it was just another tournament, like, hey, we're just doing this, blah, 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 a spin-off, another... I don't think it would have been anywhere near as upsetting had it been that they replaced the format of the previous 7 Kunoichi tournaments. Because it was like, what the hell are they doing?
I will say this. I get what you're saying. And while it's probably true, it wouldn't be as bad.
It was still bad.
On its own, like even if you change the
the
name,
final was like, holy
the
crap.
show is still not just the final, the third stage.
Yeah, the third stage was yikes.
Horrendous.
Yeah. It was funny is they had, I don't know what their fascination was, because that event was in 2 spin-off things for Sasuke Maniac.
Oh yeah.
It was in the Trials for Sasuke 22.
Yeah.
It was in Muscle Musical. It was in I think no, it wasn't in Sportsman.
No, I don't think it was in Sportsman.
No, it wasn't in Sportsman, but it could have been one of those Bansuke. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh my
I don't know what they did. I just remember. Oh God. They're not. Yes, they are.
Not to mention, they had that weird wipeout ripoff thing in between stages 1 and 2, where a bunch of losers were given the chance to make it to stage 2 anyway.
Well, the fact is that you were having a 4 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 way to 2. Yeah, it was just like, no, the whole point with Sasuke and Kunoichi is you do, one person up and that's it. And just like, oh God.
We could probably just do a whole episode on everything.
I'm sure one of the ideas that we had for future episodes was to talk about older Sasuke, and then we were running up with all of it will be pirated. It no longer is going to be pirated because it's going to be back on US television. So ultimately, regardless, and I thought it was funny because people were like, all you people that were complaining so much about the G4 edit, which sucks, are so happy that it's back, because now we can legitimately talk about Sasuke all over again without it being, oh my God, you guys are gonna have to just let it go and blah blah blah, it's gone. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's current. What are you talking about? So now people get to see it. We still have to wait a few months until the Sasuke Rising, and then back to Sasuke again. But I'm really curious how they're gonna handle that. I was asked whether or not was it Dave Wittenberg?
Yes.
Whether or not he was going to be rehired, whether or not
Kakashi
it was just going to be done differently. Yeah, Kakashi. So it was just interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to look like. Obviously, since they haven't edited any of the other stuff, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Again, like I was saying before, Drew basically saved them because they have some representation and they can pimp ANW through that the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, oh my God. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, from this episode, I would assume would be tomorrow? Because usually comes out on Fridays and it starts on Saturday morning.
Yes.
But even so, I'm sure, check the schedule if you missed the marathon. I'm sure it's going to be back in Esquire, and that's the most important thing.
Yes.
So, I'm more upset at the fact that there's no trailer for it, so I made one.
Dude, this
it's not all that good because I had to use,
old footage.
The old footage.
Royalty-free
I was going
music.
through, wow, I really don't have, between royalty-free music and old footage, like Lucy's, like that did not look good, and I'm like, let me see if I can try to take some of the hue. Maybe if I should do it like film. And I'm like, I swear, just keep it. If nothing else, I am looking forward to HD copies of that.
Yeah. So, well, I'll say this: like the fact that there's been little to no promotion of it doesn't surprise me. These are the same people that didn't promote their own ANW All-Star special earlier this year. That they made.
They also didn't promote Team Ninja Warrior either.
They did at least some promotion. Because I saw advertisements on YouTube.
Now, what I think they might do is they'll promote the living hell out of the new episodes because Esquire is going to be the ones doing it. Yeah. As opposed to promoting G4 stuff, which is what the old stuff is.
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking. Or, correction, that's what I'm hoping. Because the stuff that they have next year are all things that nobody else, quote-unquote, has seen. Well, that's true. Nobody else has seen legally.
So, speaking of promotions and new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Arsenette, you remember the National Ninja League?
Yes, saw that. Was it February?
That was in February, the very end of February.
Yeah.
What if I told you that there's going to be more National Ninja League? In fact, it already started.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. It did already start.
It did already start.
I knew it was coming back, and I knew generally where it was going to be for the final, but I wasn't sure where. I missed the announcement.
That's fine.
So
yes. National Ninja League has officially returned. There's been a few changes this time around. They added more regions. So, I believe
not many West Coast though.
10 more regionals. And another major change is that, unlike last year, it was top 5 from each regional move on to the finals. This year, it's only top 3. Now this is for both male and female. So top 3 male, top 3 female. They also announced a teen and youth league.
I did hear about that.
Yes.
Yeah, they have age ranges, right?
Yeah. They also announced that the finals this year will be at Apex Movement North California, or NorCal, which is in California. So so it is indeed going to be on the West Coast, which is what Chris told me back in February. Which is a bit weird because unfortunately they couldn't get a lot of West Coast gyms for qualifiers.
Yeah, that part I heard basically through the grapevine that it was they're still expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they had more on the West Coast participating. Yeah, it seemed weird.
Yeah.
I knew because there were I think that's where Brian works.
I don't know.
Brian
I do.
Chesky.
Oh.
So Chris has East, he has West, and Michelle has Central.
I have no idea to be honest.
Yeah, so that's what
I do know that Apex Movement NorCal is where David Campbell trains regularly. So, he's.
Is that where Casey and
No. Casey and Brent.
What's theirs?
They got Alpha Warrior.
They have Alpha. Sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Saw the A and immediately thought of it.
Nah, it's very different.
Curious if they'll enter.
Personally, I doubt it. I'd like to be proven wrong, but I have this feeling that it's not going to happen.
Yep.
Also, I was asked by Chris if I can come next year. I told him I can't make any promises, and that's still my answer at the moment.
Yeah.
Can't make any promises, but it's not off the table.
It's expensive to fly over there.
It's not off the table, but I can't make any promises. So we'll have to see.
If you do end up going, tell them to mute the music, or nobody's going to be able to see this.
Yeah, that's true. The only other thing worth mentioning is that there is, in addition for there being a cash prize to the grand winner of the finals, there's also going to be some kind of cash prize for whoever scores the most points during the qualifiers. So, if you score,
and they'll be able to answer multiple ones again.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So if you want any more information, go to nationalninja.com.
Yay.
And there's also the YouTube page at the National Ninja League. They have that. You can find out information as well as latest information about how people are doing during the National Ninja League this year.
I like it because he actually updates it every week as best as possible.
Yes. So yeah, look forward to that. Speaking of Season 2 of Ninja Competitions, Team Ninja Warrior Season 2 has officially filmed. Hooray!
Yay, during my birthday.
Hey! So we got a unofficial list of people. There's a lot of teams on this list that I am looking at.
And a lot of changes.
There's a lot of we got a lot of returnees. We got a bunch of new people. We got a bunch of team rearranging and stuff.
Yeah. They changed locations too, I think.
Did they? I imagine they also changed the course. I don't know anything
From
about...
what I understand, not by much, and the rules did not change.
Okay. All right.
I know. I wish the rules changed, but whatever.
Okay. It's tough. Like we talked about already. It's the fact that they have to fill an hour of TV and exactly an hour of TV with commercials does not play to does not help them.
Not really, but we've discussed that.
Yeah, long.
Yeah, I never understand why they have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
It's not like team sports have not existed for 100 years.
Yeah, well. Either way, so
They're
we
not
gotta
gonna change it.
So let's see. The real life beasts have been unchanged. Still Drew Drexel, Jason Graff, and Erica Cook. Team Stratisfaction is unchanged. Still Ryan Stratis, Michael Barraro, and Grace Jones. Or Grace Sims, I guess, or Jones Sims. What's interesting is that Grace's husband, Brett Sims, is on a different team. In fact, he's on Team TNT with Travis Rosen and Mary Beth Wang. Jesse Graff has Jessie LaFleur on her team now, along with Nicholas Coolidge.
Oh my god, that team!
Kevin Bull now has Lance Pekus and Maggie Thorne on his team. And one of your favorites, Lucy Romberg, is teaming up with Alan Connealy again, but also J.B. Douglas.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with him.
To be perfectly honest, so am I. If I saw a picture of him, I probably remember better, but...
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I liked the competition last year, so I'm looking forward to
I'm looking forward to. It looks like, based on the list I'm seeing here, we might have 2 female team captains this year. In addition to Jessie Graff, looks like Jessie Lebrecht is also given her own team as a captain. Especially because the team is apparently called the Lebrechtfist Club.
Oh my god!
She's going to...
For the record, I'd like the cheesy names.
Yes. So she's going to be joined by Noelle Rees, who is the rapping ninja, I believe, and John Alexis Jr., a.k.a. the Giant, and he's a tall dude. He's a tall dude.
By the way, the same... I don't know if it was the same place. I think it was the same place. A couple days later, they did the college edition. So I think they're airing... I don't know if they're back-to-back, but sort of I'm hearing end of year, beginning of next year. So it's basically the same time frame they did the last time.
That's pretty much
because
the
it
same
was, January?
Yeah. It started in January last year. Well, this year, I guess, technically.
Right.
Still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so looks like so if you have a favorite on American Ninja Warrior whose name is not, that guy, Isaac Caldera, they're probably on this show. I totally blanked out for a second there.
That's okay. Everybody else is too.
Okay, that's not
that's a long story.
Anyway, speaking of American Ninja Warrior, so a follow-up from last month. So you may have remembered that I said that based on the episodes that I watched, American Ninja Warrior 8 is shaping up to be potentially the best season of the show ever.
I think you were two
I was two
regions
at the time.
behind?
I was 2 regions behind, so that means that there was 3 regional finals I haven't watched since Philadelphia didn't air until after the Olympics.
Yeah, and as of this recording, you are completely caught up, even if it was within 15 minutes.
I watched all the regionals, and I just watched first part of stage 1 of Vegas.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. So I had people tell me, including yourself, like, oh, the 2 that you haven't watched yet, you might not be feeling so positive after those, and I had no idea why, because I didn't watch any of them. So I'll say this. So first up was Indianapolis, and I totally get why people would think I would hate Indianapolis, because they brought back the hourglass drop. But here's the thing. I really like the episode. And
That's
part
fine.
of it is because the hourglass drop is actually like good this time around. They fixed a lot of things. Like that the trampoline that they used this time around was way better. And instead of going from like board to trampoline to board, it's bar to trampoline to board. So it's easier, but it's like it's challenging at the same time. That makes sense.
I think the bigger problem. Remember, I don't watch these shows, so I just get all the reports.
Yeah.
I think the bigger problem that people were having was the editing choices.
Now, we'll get to that when we get to Philadelphia. So I kind of get the editing when it comes to, I kind of get what people are saying with the editing, but for me, and maybe it's because I was a lot more negative on the regionals for 7 last year. I like the editing overall a lot more, and it's because I think it's largely I think the biggest reason why I liked ANW a lot better this year is because of the fluff pieces. More specifically, I didn't feel like NBC was trying to make me feel depressed all the time.
Okay, they were more relevant.
It was either relevant, some of them were a bit comical. I forget who it was off the top of my head. It was like Jake something. I'm sorry. But like his fluff piece was like, I just bought a brand new car. It's a 1995 Ford. Cost me $600, and it like they put like a $600 price tag on the screen in like 90s font style. And it's like, and like the you know that thing where like the camera pans around the car and like showing like
yeah.
So they were doing that, and then they started showing like some of the dents and dings, and the music started to go like like started like that whole like reality set. Like that was funny. And the stuff that they did with Drew and James, where it's again they did the whole odd couple thing. That stuff was funny. They tried to have more fun with the fluff pieces.
Were they shorter?
They felt shorter.
Okay, they might have been.
Yeah. Also, like when it comes to like the more inspirational stuff, it wasn't like my father died. It was.
I completely understand.
It was stuff that was actually more inspirational, because there was a dude who had a stroke 6 months before ANW, and then he goes and clears the regional finals for Oklahoma City, and it's like, you know what? That one's fine. Okay, like that one's actually inspirational, because like that dude almost died and he turned it around, and it was really cool what he did, and it didn't make me feel depressed because there's a happy, because it's designed to be a happy thing, and so I appreciated it. There was like, and also like in Indianapolis they had this obstacle called the circuit board, and it was so cool. Like I think one of the gyms in on the West Coast had like a similar obstacle to it, but like it's basically, imagine like a pegboard that's horizontal, but like it's on like these tracks and stuff with like holes at certain points to get the pegs in and out. It was so cool. It was so cool. And do you remember the Towers of Power? The two firefighters? Like they had a really cool moment because only one of them made it to Vegas. And so Christy Leahy I believe it was Dan Palisi was the one who qualified. He comes across as a really cool dude when like she interviewed him and said like, oh, how do you feel about making it to Vegas? And like the first thing he said was, I wish my friend could have been there with me, could have qualified with me. It's like, oh, that's such a selfless thing to say. It's like, he comes across as a really nice guy.
Did he get invited, or he just didn't qualify?
No, he didn't qualify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they both made it to regional finals, but only Dan made it to Vegas.
Yeah, I think the majority of what I've been hearing all year, or all the season, I should say, is this. Again, the decimation of the vets.
Like there's behind the scenes stuff that you can complain against. Well, just talking about the show as itself.
Yeah, and when they do things, like they're cutting out clears that looked exciting only because they were vets. It's sort of like, is it that you just want to push new people at the detriment of everybody else? And I think that's why people were talking about that you might hate the other 2 episodes, because sort of like, how did this person ended up in the leaderboard?
Yeah.
We didn't even see his run.
Yeah,
so
I get that. I don't know. I guess
it's the same argument that I had with Sasuke. I think that's why I have a bigger issue. Is sort of like, can you just edit the things that are there, as opposed to, let me push this propaganda so you can enjoy that, but we're not going to show you any of the other stuff because we're starting to phase them out. So don't worry about that.
We'll get to that very shortly. There is actually one thing I will say I gotta credit Matt Eisman on. There was a run by one of the Brazi bros. I think Lucas Gomez his name was. So he's running the regional finals, and at one point Eisman goes, "Oh, he seems to be taking his time in between obstacles. That could cost him if he doesn't finish the course." And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you.
Captain Obvious.
I've been saying this for years, and finally someone says it on the show. And wouldn't you know it, guess what place Lucas came in?
Well, whatever it was, the outside, 16th. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, thank you. Someone finally says it on TV. It's been bothering me for so long. And to the competitors' credit, for the most part, especially in the regional finals, people seem to understand that you have to go. It's a timed course. It's still a timed course. So thank God. Oh my God.
So go ahead and get to Philly so we can wrap this section up.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia was weird. The regional, and I'm specifically talking about the regional finals. The editing was weird, and even like on a technical thing, because there was a moment early on where they're like, "All right, here's the course," and it like hangs for 5 seconds with no narration. All right, first up, what? And they did it a second time where they're like, "All right, coming up later tonight, Ryan Stratus."
So that's what you were talking about, because
we'll be right back on American Ninja Warrior. Like, I'm sorry, what?
I love following you on Twitter because you actually you take time, pause whatever it is you're doing, type out exactly what you're thinking.
Oh, I don't.
So pause. I'm like reliving the whole. Oh, you don't pause it?
No,
okay.
We do it live.
Yeah, but it's just funny. So you do what you made us.
What's even weirder is that like they advertised Ryan coming up later, and then they fast forward him. I'm like, what?
Oh, speaking of they finally put Paham's run on Facebook.
Well, considering they advertised him being on the show.
Yes, so that was like
that was the worst one. That was the worst one because they literally advertised him and then didn't show him.
Good lord.
But the Philadelphia course is the first course. Philadelphia Regional Finals is the first course in the history, the first regional course, I should say, in ANW history where no one cleared. Just straight up, all 30 people failed. And for good reason, that course is really hard. And there are 2 main reasons. The 5th obstacle was an obstacle called Rolling Thunder, where they had to spin this wheel that they were hanging from that weighed over 100 pounds across this long track with drops. And it's like, that took out a lot. It clearly took out a lot of people's energy. Especially if you're a woman. Like, my God, the woman had a tough time on that one because it's so heavy. And also they lied about making the obstacle harder from qualifiers when they actually made it easier. Like, who you try to kid? Because that obstacle,
I never pay attention to that.
Because that obstacle is split. Like, it's a giant wheel that's split into 6 wedges, like it's a Trivial Pursuit piece. And in qualifiers, 2 of the 6 wedges were filled with plexiglass so that you couldn't put your hand in them. But for regionals, 3 of the panels were half filled with plexiglass. So you could still put your hand in all 6 wedges, but 3 of them had like a little less room. And so it's like, 3 times 1 is 1.5 when 2 times 1 is 2.
Speaking of, a lot of people really did enjoy your physics lesson from last.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I even heard the Armchair Ninja podcast bring that up. Hey guys, thanks for that.
No problem.
But also, the ninth obstacle was this thing called the stair hopper, which was oh man, that obstacle looked really tough. And
is that the one that Jeff failed on?
That is the one that Jeff failed on. So it's basically a pipe slider where you have to go 4 steps down and then 4 steps up. But what really makes it tough is that some of the steps have gaps in between them. And on top of that obstacle is really slick. Like, it's obviously has very low friction. And I think that's the biggest reason why people failed, is at least the ones that fell in between the gaps, is because it's very easy to slide off.
I think someone did the summation of ANW this year. It's all arms.
Yeah, that's always been well, I don't want to say always, but lately that's been ANW. They focus a lot more on arms and upper body, even in stage 1 of Las Vegas, which I watched, and like that course, like, I'm not going to go into big detail now on that course. They are playing it very safe.
Well, the first few ANWs, which of course they never reference, because I heard even just from last night where everybody was referencing, this has never happened. Like, this happened in ANW 1. This never happened. That happened in ANW 4.
Yeah.
This was NBC. It's like, but this is normal with NBC, not even keeping up with their own history.
No.
But, just the idea that early on it used to be basically a free runner's course, and now it's a rock climbing course.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And I will say this, though. Some of the I saw they showed a preview of some of the obstacles from Vegas, including obstacles from stage 2 and 3. Hey, remember when you told me how Morimoto and other Sasuke competitors never want to see the body prop again?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god! I literally yelled, "What the is that?" when I first saw it, because I didn't know what it was. I had to go back and pause it to see what it was. I'm like,
people were sending me screenshots.
It's like, oh my god!
People sent me screenshots, and I'm like,
that body
I kind of known since June.
That body prop, holy cow! They're not kidding.
Yeah. It's just it. I can understand the frustration that they're going through, because they have so many events that they have to do, that they have to come up with all these different obstacles, and it's sort of like, I'm glad that they're doing an obstacle contest, because they have clearly run out of ideas.
Well, yeah, because like I said, it's the reason that it feels like stage 1 they're playing it safe is because every obstacle that is new is basically a new version of the obstacle that was in its place from last year.
Yeah.
Skills-wise, it's very similar. It is still different, but conceptually, the course is basically the same.
It's just a shame, considering it was a renewal course.
Not to mention,
it's the same.
Like, they have.
It was the same.
Yeah, they clearly have more money than Sasuke.
Yeah, we were just having that conversation. Yeah.
And yet, the Sasuke Stage 1 renewal feels more like it felt more ambitious, which is bizarre.
Well, yeah, considering that they wanted to do a hell of a lot more, but they had, what, a tenth of the budget?
And less time.
Yeah. Much less time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just say this. Jessie Graff, I am really happy that I was right. And she is indeed the first woman to clear stage 1.
I had to bite my lips so damn hard.
I could imagine, yeah. And you know what? She did a great job on that, and there's one definite positive I could say about Vegas in stage 1 is that they got the time limit right. They definitely got the time limit right, because last year I felt like they had too much time for stage 1, but this year
now do you understand why I wanted her in Sasuke?
Yes,
because she would have cleared.
She definitely
Easily.
There's a high chance she would have cleared.
She would have been...
Barring the careless error, she would have cleared.
She would have been in the freaking third stage.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that.
Well, especially with that really, really high second stage in Sasuke, the timer, she would have cleared it.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, like I said, barring a careless error.
Damn. Oh, God. Anyway.
Hey, there's always next
Sasuke.
year, right?
Yes, we'll see. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps talking to me as if I have somehow any control. I have zero control over this. There's plenty of ideas that I have, but yeah.
Speaking of next year, just to confirm, it is happening.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten a couple people were asking on the YouTube, Battlelight and Sasuke Boy 01? Yeah, Sasuke Boy 01. Yeah. It is considered to be because they mentioned when the whole chaos happened where everybody was really upset with the editing for 32, and people were calling it for it to be ripped off the air and everybody should be ashamed of themselves, yada yada yada. They said, give us a chance. Next year is the 20th anniversary. So, like, legit 20th anniversary. We've had the discussion before, where it literally it's Sasuke was in 1997, September of 1997, and then next year is 2017, so that's 20 years. So, that by itself, it wouldn't be a 20-year anniversary if it was later on this year, because it'll still be 2016, and it wouldn't be in 2018 because it would have been the 21st year. So, process of elimination has to be next year. So, and they haven't missed a year since they started a renewal. They've lost budget and changed all kinds of things, but they managed to get it. So I would expect same time-ish. I don't know. Now that NBC is involved, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna push it. I do not see how NBC would be involved and not get their hands over this. So, and if they do, that means that they would actually have money for it. What the tournament's going to look like is an entirely separate subject, but nothing leads me to believe that it wouldn't be next year around the same time.
Right.
But yeah, they themselves said it, and I know there's always some conjecture on whether or not, the Twitter is always the... but so many people have said it's the 20th anniversary, please come back, give us another chance. With them signing a multi-year deal, they're basically signaling to everybody else that it's going to be okay for a while. So we'll see.
All right,
but yeah, it should be 33 should be next year. But time-wise, we'll see.
Before we get to 33, let's talk about 32.
Yeah, you actually finally get the opportunity to talk about the obstacles since you listened to me yammer on for 4 hours last week.
Hey, let's talk about some obstacles.
Oh, you actually get to talk about between the what's it called? Yeah. When you were going through the guessing game, you actually got to stare at them with extreme detail.
Oh yeah. So let's start with the first 2 obstacles of stage 1. The quad steps into the rolling hill. So, what are your thoughts?
It was interesting seeing the quad steps. Again, we haven't seen that since ANW 2.
Quad steps? 2. Yeah, probably something like that. I don't know. No, not
yeah,
2.
I know Nagano.
No, wait, no, not 2.
Nagano Yuji, yes, 2, because Nagano Yuji and Okuyama did the quad steps on in what's it called? Venice Beach. Quad steps were definitely...
Oh, sorry. A&W 2. I'm sorry about that. I thought...
ANC, A&W.
I thought you said Sasuke 2.
My apologies, no. No, the quad steps is definitely in A&W.
Yeah, no, A&W 2, yeah. That's,
So it was funny when I first saw it. I was like, really? Interesting. And then the first thing that everybody asked, can we grab it? And the answer is yes, you can grab it. So, in fact, the ones that failed were the ones that didn't steady themselves before they jumped onto the rolling hill.
Yeah, for the most part. It's interesting. It's such a... I don't know.
Deceiving obstacle.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Because they're literally putting 2 first obstacles together.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that,
I liked it.
And not only that, it's an obstacle combined with an obstacle that's already a combination of 2 obstacles. So it's 3 obstacles put together now.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm fine with it. I don't know if I'll be fine with it like after next year is done, but I can go with like one more. With one more.
Well, I like that they're changing. I would think that they would change up the beginning, even if they keep the rolling hill. Either they put it back in the beginning or change up the. I think the fact that you can grab on to the quad steps made the rolling hill easier if you knew that ahead of time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean,
because you're a lot steadier going in from a lot closer rather than from the starting platform.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion on it.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, because steps. There's like the most used first obstacle in the history of Sasuke. You know, in some form. So it's always one of those things where it's like, I know this is a different scenario, but it's like, really, steps again? So.
What, do you want the dancing stones?
No, I want the rope glider back. But they'll never do that again.
No, they had somebody in traction because of that.
I know. It's really cool though.
As in, like, legit, I'm not kidding. Somebody ended up in traction.
I know.
After that, so. I know. But there's a lot of people that don't know about the history. That's why it never came back and almost killed somebody.
Tell them to
Actually,
buck up.
3 people? Almost killed 3 people?
Yeah, that's a shame. Because it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, again, I like fast things. That's why I liked that in the second stage.
Yeah, maybe
I've always loved the.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. But when you do that in the first obstacle of the first stage, where you have everybody from varying degrees of
skill level.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's
no, it's an issue. Maybe
in fact, one of the guy that did it was a comedian, so I'm sure he's not known for doing stuff like that.
Remember, what was it, Sasuke 16, I believe, the hurdle jump, where they gotta.
Is that the one that looked like a dome?
No. That's the one where
I hated that one.
No, that's the one where they had to run up the incline and jump over the hurdle, and then they had to.
I don't like that one.
Okay.
The seesaw thing?
No, it wasn't a seesaw. It was a ramp with like a little wall at the top.
Oh, they've used that in Trials too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to mix it up.
It looks cheap.
Well,
I know it's so strange. It probably is cheap, but it looks cheap. It's hard to explain. And as much as I wish Sasuke had a bigger budget, but even sometimes that they do some shortcuts just in general. And I'm glad it's not like spray painted in all primary colors, so it bugs my eyes out like it does with ANW.
Yeah, it's a bit in your face sometimes, the color scheme of the ANW finals.
Yeah, it's a lot more primary colors.
It's a lot of red.
Usual.
A lot of red or a lot of blue, depending on what they feel like.
I mean, it still looks great. It's just it's a little bit too much. Yeah, it's a little too strong.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know what I would replace that with.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that would, I don't know either. In the end, I
wouldn't be upset if I saw it again, though.
Yeah, no. In the end, I'd be okay with it.
Oh, so redoing a keep, modify, destroy?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool.
I'm fine with keeping.
Yeah, I'm fine with keeping too.
All right, next up, let's go to a galaxy far, far away. It's the TIE Fighter.
The officially licensed TIE Fighter.
Yeah. Coming to a store near you.
Parents,
make sure you pre-order. I liked it too. I thought it was cool. There is one thing though that maybe I would change up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that people seem to figure out that the higher you get on the obstacle, the less likely you are to fall.
That's not the only reason. It's because they were trying to get away from all the muck from people putting the crap on the bottom.
Fair enough.
They do that further. It's just they should clean it more.
That's true.
Then again,
that's more of a
weather.
housekeeping issue than a design thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
anything with walls, because anything with walls would have that issue.
I'm fine with it, but it's like, I don't know, maybe make it a little bit shorter, but sometimes I'm evil like that, as we discussed in the past. But I'm fine with it either way. I really like it.
So keep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Speaking of keeping, music box.
I've always liked it.
I like this updated version too.
I like the updated version too.
It's clearly better.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just, you don't see a lot of moving obstacles these days. Even though this time around we have like 3, which is like, oddly high for Sasuke, and it does make me wish that sometimes, like I would have liked if ANW took this obstacle personally. I think it would have really shook up things.
I think that would decimate people.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been nice to shake it up. Either way.
Yeah, this specific one, because of last year, everybody would just run up the top the way they did.
Yeah, well, people figured it out,
yeah.
But this year they were like, aha, I can't do that.
People got their fingers caught. It was really funny.
Can't do that this year.
I'm evil. I don't know. As soon as I said, I'm like, oh my god, that's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, like how...
Because everybody's like, oh damn, oh god, whoa, oh, that'll have a lot less. I have to actually do this obstacle rather than run across it.
Yeah, I have to try.
Yeah, exactly. And most people that had that issue were the ones that did not go that far.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely keep the music box. It's a lot of fun. It's unique, it's different, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of A&W, we have A&W's fraternal twin, the double pendulum.
I was okay with it. If I were to pick between this and the TikTok, I actually did prefer the double pendulum over the TikTok.
Yeah, it's weird. I like both versions.
The reason why I like this one because it had a trampoline.
Yeah, I hear
you can
that.
you can fail the mount.
Yeah. I would say also the double pendulum, because of how it's designed, it feels like a faster obstacle.
It is.
Yeah, so I personally would go with the double pendulum. I like it the way it is.
Yeah, so I prefer the double pendulum over the TikTok.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but like I said, I think both obstacles are fine. But
the only thing that I would say in modify, you can tell that they had to build that really quickly, and the bottom of it looked a little droopy.
Yeah. Well.
So basically, just kind of like fix it up a little bit.
That
would be the modify, but that would be with more time, more money, and they actually can do better materials with it. Yes, it does. Oh God! No, I have that in my head.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I would say that's more of a keep because that's more of a technical change. So it's not really like a design change.
To keep.
Yeah, but no, I'm in agreement here.
Okay, so yeah.
So actually, next up, I gotta bring up one of our viewer submitted questions here.
Sure. From
ED Writer on Twitter. I think they made the tackle too difficult in Sasuke 32. Hey, Mr. ED. I disagree.
I disagree too.
I think they should make it harder. That way,
this one was a little bit heavier than last year. It was 1.8% more. And I think that's what I was told. It was 1.8.
If I saw the numbers, I'd tell you, but I don't care enough to look.
Yeah, it was heavier. Even with the women's version, it was 1.8 heavier than last year. Yeah. If the warp wall is brought back, which at this point I think they have to keep it back because they just got hammered for even suggesting taking it out, this should be the combination forever.
Yeah.
Period. Tackle has to go before the warp wall because that's proven. Only people that actually train for this damn thing are going to pass that combination.
Oh God! I just realized. Imagine if they put the tackle in American Ninja Warrior right before the warped wall.
Oh my God! That would be amazing.
With how much A&W normally focuses on upper body stuff,
yes, that would be amazing.
People would experience whiplash on essentially when all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I have to use my legs. What the hell?"
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be epic.
Oh, they should do that.
Musk, bring to ANW, please.
Oh, that'd be great. No, tackle. I love the tackle. I'm fine with it. Maybe Rio will
the tackle.
Maybe Rio will finally learn.
I'm still rolling my. Did you see Nagano's reaction to it?
Yeah, I saw that.
People forgot that. It's like, go back and look at his face. Just that was real time. Trust me. What they did cut, which I find amusing, and it didn't have it, only because I was there. This is like where they cut where he rolled his eyes, looked at me, threw his hands in the air, and. And just like I'm like, I don't know, and then he turned around and looked over. It was like right after that eye roll, he turned over and then looked at me to do that, and we're like, I have no idea what the hell he's doing. But that everybody's terrified of the tackle, and that needs to happen in ANW.
Yeah, we need.
But yes, for this keep. Oh my God, keep the same thing that I said last year.
Yeah, definitely. So. Well, after that is the warped wall, and I think we both already said that. Well,
I would keep the single wall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy it's back to a single wall because the double wall was just stupid.
Silly. I was gonna say stupid. It's like it's
dumb. They didn't have anything else, so that took a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just a single warp wall should be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Especially, oh God, could you imagine having to do 2 walls after doing the tackle?
Oh, wow. Imagine having to do the tackle on the warped wall. I don't even know how that worked, but just imagine it anyway. I'm
sure somebody in SMF will make that happen. Tarzan to Lumberjack. I actually don't mind that one.
So
I prefer the Lumberjack over any of the cargo nets or ropes.
I prefer the Lumberjack to any cargo nets, and I don't know. I really like the ropes, but Lumberjack climb might be like the best final. Like that's okay. Having watched ANW Vegas like literally right before we recorded this, and seeing that they still had the cargo climb, my very first thought was, why didn't you just take the Lumberjack climb? That would have been such a cool obstacle to end on. And like cargo nets are quite frankly it's the slowest final obstacle of stage 1.
I remember seeing that ANW 1 and 2, and it was that ginormous one. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Well,
and it was like somebody actually fast forwarded on their entry video because it was so long. It's like paint dry is more exciting than this.
At least,
and you can fail.
Yeah.
The Lumberjack climb.
Oh yeah, you can easily.
I mean, unless you missed the jump to grab the cargo net, you're in essence you're only either going to run out of time, but you can't fall off. You can totally fall off the Lumberjack climb.
Absolutely.
It's been proven several times.
Yes. Yeah. No. Lumberjack climb is great. It is and you know what? Like, going back to A&W thing, they have an obstacle called the I-beam cross in regionals. They could just call it like the I-beam climb or something like that, or whatever. It's like it's not like it's a concept that's completely new. Could have just done that, but no. Lumberjack climb is great, and Tarzan rope. I could take it or leave it. If they found another way to get down to the bottom like that'd be fine.
Anything but in Viking where they had to use the hook.
No way. Actually, you know what? Screw that. Bring back the mass swing from Viking. That obstacle was
y'all
amazing.
Have no idea what I'm talking about. It was the 6th obstacle.
It was the second to last obstacle.
Yeah, you're at the bottom of. You're on an
elevated
floating platform. Yeah, floating platform on water. You have to take a rope that has a hook at the end of it, swing it to get to this very high bar at the top. Make sure that you when you hit it latches itself, because that has to hold your weight, and then you swing across the body of water onto another floating platform. And pray that it's because it's supposed to be on a ship. Yeah, so in fact, was that where Shingo failed?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think that's where Shingo failed. But it was just...
You know
I know Akiyama failed there, too.
You know what the best failure on that obstacle ever was?
No.
One dude throws the rope and hooks it on. The problem is he also let go of the rope.
Oh, God.
So at that point, he's like, well, might as well just jump.
Yes, and he just dived in.
No, that didn't work out.
Yeah, but God, that would be hilarious. Could you imagine after doing all that record and all of a sudden, oh crap. They wouldn't do it,
look,
though.
they had Cannibal Alley in Sasuke under Inui's reign. Mm-hmm. And, you know...
As much as he keeps...
Yeah.
I gave him crap for that so much because I still want that sign. I would laugh if A&W does that.
They
absolutely would laugh if they would just do that.
They won't, though.
They won't, though. I know.
It's a shame. So I think it's pretty much all keep for stage 1.
Yeah, like I would suspect that they would either move things around, add something, because I don't think they've outright carbon copied an entire stage. Even when they did bring back, there was some tweak here and there. Either something was a little bit further or harder or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd laugh my butt off if they ever bring back the flying chute. They won't do it though. But
that obstacle is too expensive to make, and probably too dangerous for some people.
Oh come on, that was fun. See, again, I'm into more like.
The obstacle was a lot of fun, but that also looked very expensive.
Except for people that getting clotheslined. Oh God, no, that's not expensive because this is just the same rigging and it's just a slide.
Okay, well either way, you know what?
Yeah.
Screw it then. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Replace the Tarzan rope with that.
Inui would never bring something back that Higuchi made famous.
No, screw that.
You know that.
Screw that. Screw pride.
See, I don't know with A&W being involved how much that's going to change.
Actually, you know what? A&W, you're more prone to bring in dangerous obstacles, so why don't you guys do the flying chute?
So they can see people getting clotheslined?
Yeah. Why not?
People have no idea now that they... see, again, this is why I'm so happy Ninja Warrior's coming back. Just go back to Sasuke 18 and 19. Specifically 19. And check out the flying chute.
But
what was that, second to last obstacle?
Yes.
Yeah, because and then they ended up going down the cargo net if you survived it. Go around and then go up there was another rope? No.
Technically, it was Tarzan rope to net climb, and so if you count the Tarzan rope as a separate obstacle, which I never did, but some people do. But yeah, it was after the flying chute. You simply just swing the rope into the cargo net to climb it.
People have failed the Tarzan rope.
They
have, yes,
one
they have.
Dude.
Still, you can still fail it. Just like the stick slider is considered a separate one, and we saw that it was a fail.
The thing is, I always considered it the same obstacle, not like separate obstacles. You know, that's what I mean.
All right, second stage.
Second stage, it's almost completely the same as the second stage last year.
And just like I said last year, get rid of the cross slider.
So last year I was like, keep the cross slider, and boy, that was dumb. I was so disappointed that they didn't change the first obstacle of stage 2.
Yeah. I've said it again. This is the stage that got hit hard. That was the one that was supposed to replace so much.
Change it up.
It was 3 obstacles they were planning to do on that.
Was one of them the first obstacle?
I'm almost positive it was. I don't have exact details. All I know is just like, yep, all that was supposed to be changed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Change it with something else. I don't care. And also,
cross-slider was supposed to be gone.
I know.
But
not to mention, it doesn't look as good when you have the TIE Fighter in stage 1 because they're similar obstacles.
Yeah, especially to True Drescher.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Because he did basically the exact same thing on the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, so get rid of the cross slider. What about the salmon ladder up and salmon ladder down?
If we were to have that at all, that's still one of my favorite iterations, because I did not like the swap.
No, God, no.
I still like the original one, but they're never gonna bring that one back. And especially now with the quality of people, that would be considered too easy, even if it is taller.
Yeah, okay.
Because not a lot of people train the back part to coming down the salmon ladder.
Yeah.
So, now granted, nobody failed it this time, but
well, no one failed any of the obstacles in stage 2 this time.
Yeah, but the idea being that would be a potential failure, especially for, again, this is a very specialized obstacle, so most people that enter these tournaments have had some experience with them at some point or another. And so
I feel like I mentioned last month, if more people had cleared stage 1, I imagine some people would have failed the salmon ladder.
Yeah.
I'm fine with keeping the two of them. I like them as a duo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I don't like? This version of the spider walk.
Yeah.
I'm so done with it.
Yeah. See, I never did like the drop part. I know this sounds weird. It's ugly to me.
It's a bit too inconsequential, also.
Yeah. Now, what was it? 2 years ago, Drew almost basically bidded on that one.
Yeah, he still saved himself.
Yeah, I know, he saved it. Well, it's true, so...
Yeah, I know. It's just...
But yeah, I agree. It's just... It's time to go. Again, the second stage needs just somebody to throw in a couple sticks of dynamite and just blow the thing and start all over again. Like, none of these things should be on there.
Speaking of blowing things...
Yeah, the Backstream.
So,
now, I would laugh my butt off if they end up in ANW.
They don't have the cojones to do it. You hear that, ANW? I'm calling you out. You don't have the grapefruits to put the Backstream in stage 2.
If you said it in Italian, say it in... Actually, is it Italian? Yeah, it's Italian. Say it in English.
You don't have the testicles to do it.
As my husband says, cursing in another language is still cursing. But yeah, I don't think so. It was funny because in that famous article that I read, where Inui was talking about how he wants to change the look of Sasuke, and he did say second stage he wants that to be a C stage.
How would that work?
He didn't say, and I was too busy groaning, and he's sitting there just cackling at me going, "You're gonna love it." Like, I don't think so.
How do you do an underwater obstacle course?
I kept describing the closest that I ever got. What was Kunoichi 5, 6? That had the partial water, but that was all elevated. So I asked him, is it going to be like Kunoichi where the whole thing was elevated? He goes, no, you're in it. I'm like, where do I play Marco Polo? He just didn't say anything. I'm like, damn it. So I don't know.
Every swimming obstacle, whether it's Viking, Sasuke, or some show that I'm not thinking of that I've ever seen, has only ever been swim through this thing and maybe go underneath this thing. It's never been that complicated. And I don't know how you make like a complex underwater obstacle course, because ultimately there's only so much you can do in the Sasuke style. You know, like it can't be like, oh, go underwater and find like 15 rings on the ground, because that's like, what?
Like I said, I'm not so happy with the direction because it wouldn't be Sasuke to me.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Just
like, here's the thing.
Again, I don't know. He won't tell me anything.
If you want to like say do like a sea marina theme, like if it was something like Viking, that's fine. Just don't put it all underwater.
He says you're in the water.
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know either. But anyway, Backstream, blow up, destroy, get rid of. Yes.
Take a hammer. Put a
Sticks
hole
of dynamite a whole lot faster.
Just get a really strong guy with a hammer. You only need one hole to drain that thing.
All in the bottom. Okay, reverse conveyor. We already know what you feel.
Why did they bring it back?
I have no idea either. I'm like, especially since a couple people got hurt.
It was useless back then, and it's still useless now.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, from a logistics standpoint, I can even turn around and say, dude, that's not going to pass health and safety. So, yes.
Not to mention, with the time limit that they had, and just how much longer
the time limit was just too
It's so
much.
inconsequential. Because at best, the conveyor belt is a time sink. But when you have so much time, you can't really sink it.
Yeah. Then the wall lift, out of all the wall lifts, I actually didn't have a problem with this one. It took me a while to get used to how it slowly comes down.
Yeah,
and again, I'm sadistic. I want the damn thing to slam down so they can actually lift it. And I didn't get, one of the obstacles that one of the sports that I like watching in the Olympics, when I did watch the Olympics, is free weight, the weights,
weightlifting.
Weightlifting, and was it clean jerk? I think
clean and jerk. Yes, that is.
Yeah, where they snap it up, and my favorite person to see do that was Okuyama. Okuyama had the perfect. It was beautiful to watch. And I'm like, that's just quick snap underneath, boom. There was no, oh god, I'm gonna go underneath. No, it's just he had it, boom, underneath, boom, underneath. The next closest would be someone like Drew, because Drew also had a similar sort of hump, go, boom, done, and it's beautiful to watch. Very few people can do that, but and then with this one, it was it's coming down really slow. So in other words, so long as you had it high enough to get your body underneath, that was basically it. You didn't really have that much, and it was prettier to watch. You didn't have the safety issues and whatever, and then because it came down, I think at this point, again, get rid of it entirely, because it has long since outlived its usefulness.
Just replace it with the Travelator from American Gladiators.
I'm trying to remember what the Travelator was.
That is the conveyor belt that you have to go uphill on.
Oh God, I remember that. God.
It's you already took from American Gladiators once back in Sasuke 4 when you introduced the arm bike. Just do it again. Who cares?
Interesting.
Imagine that as a final obstacle. You're tired, that the klaxon's blowing, and you have to get up this conveyor belt that's going against you uphill.
So yeah, that's the second stage. Third,
very different.
No, second stage still get rid of the entire stage.
Very different compared to stage 1. Also,
yes.
I guess for the record, I wouldn't be opposed to them bringing back the wall lift, because at least it's to the ground now. Yeah,
and at least it's not the 2 buckets on a stick.
Yeah,
that was 15?
18 when they changed all the obstacles. It's the only Sasuke without a wall lift in it.
Oh, by the way, that was also from Viking.
Yes, it was. But here's the difference. In Viking, that was the first obstacle of stage 2, not the last.
Yeah, and you had to go through a
rotating platform.
Yeah, rotating platform.
See,
I loved Viking.
that obstacle works a lot better when it's the beginning of an obstacle.
And it made sense because it was theme-wise identical.
Yes.
Y'all need to pirate Viking. Find it somewhere, anywhere, please.
God. I want them to make a US version of Viking. Who could I petition to do that? Fox would do that.
Not NBC.
Not NBC. No, Fox or CBS would do it. They'd do it. I'm gonna go send them a letter. Hold on, I'll be right back.
A whole bunch of people losing to the math parlay.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what?
Nagano failed it.
You know what? Serves them right if they fail. That's like a 4th grade level math edition.
4th grade level edition.
Yeah,
it didn't have to be math.
Well, that version was math. There's also the alphabet parlay, when you have to remember the alphabet backwards. There was also the color fusion.
Yeah, that wasn't Celebrity though, right? Or Family?
No, that was in Viking 3. Color fusion was in Viking 3 in stage 2.
I have to go see that because I actually didn't see it.
Also in I think it was both Celebrity and Family versions, there was what prefecture is this? Which is kind of embarrassing because Japan does not have as many prefectures as states, so they should know that better.
It has 47.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Holy crap.
47 prefectures.
In that small country?
Yep.
Holy crap. Okay, I take that back. Never mind.
Yeah, 47.
I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, you could do that with the states then. So it's a similar difficulty. There's 50 states. Yeah, if you get lucky, you might get Texas. If you're unlucky, you might get something in the Northeast that's not.
You can laugh at me. When I was a kid, there was a commercial for the Boys and Girls Club, or was it Girl Scouts? I think it was Girl Scouts of New Jersey, and they had Now, I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, so when I'm looking at the icon, it was the outline of the state of New Jersey, but for me, it looked like an old woman's silhouette. So it wasn't until I was a teenager that I realized that's the state of New Jersey, you idiot. Because it looked like an old lady. If you look at it.
I've never thought that.
Yeah. Because it was isolated. Because usually I see the tri-state area, see that attached to Pennsylvania and Delaware. Because almost everything over here is the tri-state. Just miraculously forget about Maryland. But, those are the 3 that are usually connected in some form or fashion. And, yeah. How is the state of New Jersey? I can tell you one thing. Whenever those kind of, games come up, that's Jersey. Yeah, that's Jersey.
Then. Stage 3.
Stage I liked stage 3 for what it was.
Should probably put a roof on it next time. Nah.
Happy thoughts.
So, Drum Hopper Kai.
Yeah, I liked how it went up each time.
So, the Drum Hopper Kai is exactly what I asked for last year. So, yeah. I'm happy. And one person almost failed it. So, there's always that what if now that you can actually fail the first obstacle of stage 3. So yeah, it's good in my book.
Flying bar, I wish it was the full length, so I call it basically the discount flying bar. Yeah, well, it's... Although it didn't matter at the end because of the rain, but oh god, let's not think about that. Let's just think of the obstacle. Yeah, but in general, I like the flying bar. I like it that it was earlier. Yeah. I like it that it was earlier. Sidewinder, I liked what they did with the Sidewinder this time.
Whoa, you're going a little
too flying through you.
Jesus.
Go back to the flying bar.
Oh, wow. Jeez. I'm about to talk. You were all like, oh yeah, William gets to talk a bunch, and then you start excluding me. Jeez.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, what's unique about the flying bar is that it is an obstacle that, in my personal opinion, can work anywhere in stage 3.
Yes.
It can work in any position. It can work as the first obstacle, as the last obstacle, or somewhere in between. And so, ultimately, you can keep it, put it anywhere you want. I don't care. It's fine. It's good. And I really like it. I like the flying bar. I like what it's a more advanced version of the jumping bars, and I like the jumping bars, and I really like it. So yeah, keep it or move it in a different position. Either way.
Have they ever had the jumping bars in ANW?
They had it in the early ones.
As in the ones that NBC doesn't recognize.
The ones that aired only on G4.
Okay.
And it might have It might have been an ANW 4 for one of the regionals, but I have to go back and check. But it was definitely an ANW 1, and it was definitely an ANW 2. It might have been in 3. I don't remember. I'd have to check again. And I think 4 used it for one of the regionals.
I actually like the jumping bar rather than... Well, by comparison, they're completely different obstacles, even though they share the same
concept.
Type. Yeah. I don't know. It for me, it seems harder for the jumping bar rather than the flying bar. I don't know why. I think it's just a mental thing. Yeah.
I think the flying bar looks harder, personally.
No, I think they're...
Because you're bringing the bar with you into cradles.
Yeah. The other one you have to grab with your hands. Your hands can slip.
Yeah, but I guess I see it more as an aiming thing. I think it's easier to aim on the jumping bars. Personally.
Well, either way, I do like the flying bar.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? If they brought back the jumping bars, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Yeah, just my own opinion. I think it's harder.
Okay.
But yes, if you're gonna bring it back, bring all 4. Don't do modified. Yeah, whatever.
Well, you know, maybe they could like shorten certain other obstacles that are ridiculously large to make some room.
Yeah, remember the sticks of dynamite? You need a few more for this one. We'll get to that.
You know what obstacle looks like a bunch of sticks of dynamite? The Sidewinder R Kai.
Yeah.
Now you might remember last year I said that I wanted them to have less room when it comes to jumping. And that's exactly what they did. So I have no problems.
Yeah, and the shock of them dropping was interesting.
And it looks cool.
Mm-hmm. I remember the first time it was like, oh god, okay, we got this. Okay. Now there are more things like that on ANW where the physical things drop and move and whatever, and I don't remember Sasuke having as many of those types of obstacles.
No. ANW likes its moving parts. Well, it's not motorized moving parts, I should say. Right.
But even something like the ropes where, some of them drop down, you didn't know which ones they were, yada, yada. But they have that idea of, like, the element of surprise, like...
Yes.
How am I going to feel that drop? I guess the closest would be something like the what was it, the log drop? The log drop, where it's like how strong of that jolt is gonna be. That's how they were trying to deal with it for the
log grip.
Yeah, the log grip. Thank you. Log drop. This is not sounding right. My brain's fired.
Yeah, no, I wasn't quite sure what you were talking about at first. Yeah, log grip. Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I could see that. Yeah, and also we had worst person fail it.
Yeah.
Our Swedish representative.
Although if it was dry, I'm not sure about that.
Was it raining? Was it raining when he was going?
No, but it was extremely humid.
That's true.
Now remember what Drew had to go through, where he kept trying to dry his feet, and everybody's like, "Oh, he wasted so much time." Just like he needed to. Did you notice everything else that was going on? And somebody failed just before him.
If you haven't noticed, things were pretty crazy that tournament.
Yeah. So
this was a bit abnormal in terms of conditions.
Yeah. Sasuke ate.
yeah, basically.
People get to see it again. Yay!
Yay!
Plug. People actually get to see Ken Kasugi again.
So the man who's actually American, despite everyone thinking he's Japanese.
Well, he's half Japanese, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he has an American citizenship or whatever.
Yep, he was born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
So that makes him American.
Yep. Him and his brother.
Hey, you know what's not American? The ultra crazy Cliffhanger, because it was created in Japan.
Remember the sticks of dynamite? I just want the Cliffhanger gone.
Yeah,
We need something to... Now, granted, it was cool to see it. Yes. It was interesting concept. I preferred the vertical limit over the Cliffhanger. Like, I think that's a natural progression. Now, granted, there were so many... You didn't? Oh, you didn't? You don't like the vertical limit?
No, I said I completely agree.
Oh, yeah. Even though there's still so many people that would naturally fail the crazy part, or the jumping part of the cliffhanger. Because cliffhanger is, again, it's a very specialized obstacle. But then again, even in both ANW and Sasuke, by the time you get that far,
you're probably a specialized person.
Yeah, although that's what happened to Anastas last year.
Yeah, I said probably.
Where sort of like as soon as he got it, and again, that's it. My big thing is I want a rookie to be able to get to the final if he is athletically fit.
Like I said in the past, I liked the Sasuke 17 version, where it's just 3 rungs at different heights. But starting with 18 is when they started the whole swinging thing.
Yeah.
And I don't like swinging in my cliffhanger. That's all there is to it. I've never been a fan of the swinging. And yes, it's true in both the Shin cliffhanger and the Ultimate cliffhanger, it is possible to do those obstacles without swinging if you have,
long arms,
Kong Express arms,
pterodactyl arms.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of swinging, and for this one, you have to swing because I don't think anyone. Would you even be allowed to attempt to try to reach out and like go one at a time if it was even possible? I don't know.
You have to turn around while like you have to twist.
I know.
So if
it's I don't like the swinging.
I don't think you can get that far because it's it's just under 2 meters, which is 6 feet. Is that almost 7 feet?
So a really tall person might be able to do it.
Well, somebody doesn't have the arms for that.
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just think I would rather see the progression into like the vertical limit if you're going to do that at all. Vertical limit takes less space too. Again,
also just do the vertical limit.
I agree. Oh, and for people that were asking, yes, people have done the vertical limit Kai. There's videos of that. People built that in their houses.
Yeah. By the way, ANW has 2 jumps. Has 2 crazy cliffhanger jumps in their cliffhanger for Vegas this year.
That cliffhanger is fugly. Why do they have to use the UCH version, the big, huge thing you can see from space?
Because they want something that's big and intimidating.
It's ugly.
I'm
Look, I hated the ultimate crazy cliffhanger in Sasuke, so I was so happy they went back to the streamlined version. It's sort of like I want to be able to see the obstacle from any part of the place there.
Any angle.
Yeah, and then but you can't with the UCH because it's just like it's like, dude, you're blocking the sun.
Yeah, it's a really big obstacle.
Oh, and if anything, keep the pipe slider because that is still the best out of the endings.
I was thinking maybe you could do a thing where like it's kind of hard to explain. So imagine a horizontal pipe, but there's like vertical pipes that come up that you have to jump over.
They did some parts with that.
It's different. It's different from that step up that they did that one time.
See, because you have to remember how the athlete is by the end of this.
I know. No.
So, do you want them to have? You want it to be progressively harder and harder, but do you want it to be impossible?
It already is impossible. I don't know. It was just an idea. Like I love the pipe slider. I've said before it's my favorite obstacle. I'm just for the sake of conversation.
No, I understand. I understand.
I don't know, just maybe like ways to spice it up because variety.
I agree. Yeah, I
up.
totally agree.
Because Pipe Slider was created in Sasuke 1, and it's gone through changes and it has disappeared before in the past. But
yeah, the stuff that it was replaced with, people didn't like.
It's well, we never got to see the flying bar in action as a final obstacle in Sasuke, I should add. But yeah, the ring doesn't matter what version of the ring, it was not good.
Agreed. It's too humid also.
Yeah. But no, Pipe Slider, I'm fine with that. Vertical Limit Kai, fine with that. Cliffhanger can, go away. I don't care. It's not going to.
It's not going to.
We know it's not going to, but if it went away, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. Replace it with the jumping bars. I don't care. Or the body prop.
I can see why that. Yeah, you hate them.
Yeah, you caught that.
Oh no, trust me. Especially the ANW one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god.
Yeah, let's not discuss that. So yeah.
Or you know what? Bring back the pole vault.
Oh god, that was in the third stage, wasn't it?
It was. It was in 3 and 4. And
yeah.
maybe 2. No, it wasn't 2. 3 and 4.
See, some of the early stuff, even though they were a lot smaller, it was interesting because they were more like kunoichi courses where there were a lot of balance.
Bring back
men
the
in
pillars.
General are not known for balance.
Is
that what you're talking about? The one that Kane just totally wiped out on?
The very first obstacle of the very first stage 3, the pillar walk thing.
Yeah.
Some people failed. Bring that back. See how people react to that.
Yeah, although the theme for the third stage has always been sky.
Yeah, well.
So
make them really tall pillars.
As opposed to something like Domino Hill and Kunoichi.
You know what? Even better. Bring back Domino Hill and put it in stage 3.
Yeah.
Make
and
really
the
tall.
Real Domino Hill, not what A&W came up with, which was a travesty.
Yeah, it was not as good.
No, that was just a poorly built version. You need real Domino Hill.
Actually, remember that final obstacle of stage 3 of Kunoichi where it's like, it's the swinging balance beam and all that?
Yeah.
Do that. See how people would react. I don't even care what stage they put that in. Just put it in any stage.
Oh my god. We had conversations with the guys over there about those types of balance obstacles, and
you know what?
I just keep hearing is bing, you win.
Just put all of Kunoichi in Sasuke and see how people would react.
There has been discussion about, whether or not how well men will do on the women's course.
We never know.
This is built entirely different.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be interesting.
So. And I like the final stage, by the way.
So, final stage. We didn't get to see it in action, but it's a spider climb, salmon ladder, rope climb combination. And, yeah, I'm down with that.
See it. I really want to see that.
Yeah.
So, I really want to see that. And it's...
I have a question.
Sure.
Would you be opposed to replacing the spider climb with just more salmon ladder? Like the A&W skills challenge?
As the final?
As the final. Like, it's just a long salmon ladder to the rope climb.
I wouldn't be upset with it. There has to be some sort of rope climb because that's sort of
it's
part of the final.
Got to be a rope climb.
Like ignoring the spider climb entirely. I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
You
That's
remember they've had a freaking stair before.
Oh yeah, they've had a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But also, just important to point out that this is in fact the first final stage with 3 obstacles in it.
Yeah, in any variation of it.
In any variation, so that's significant.
Yeah, I'm really curious what they would look like, and I'm really curious what time they would put that.
Oh yeah, that's the big question. How much time do you give them?
Yeah.
I do not know the answer to that.
No, I don't think anybody knew the answer to that. Because I don't think
they even knew the answer to that.
Oh, they tested it.
That doesn't mean they knew the answer.
Yeah, I know. It was like they tested it. It was like, oh god, yeah.
They might have had it like whittled down to like a few candidates, but they might have been like, we'll figure it out if we get there.
Well, it's the same with people clearing the crazy cliff, the crazy cliff to the vertical, where they had a rock climber guy that was fresh and he barely made it.
Yeah,
I
still can't believe there's not a rest in between those two obstacles. That was the whole point. That's a bit much.
That was the whole point.
It's like they didn't want to see the final stage at all.
No, I think it's just basically, and this happens every single time whenever there's a new absurd obstacle that they had. It's now people are going to get up to this skill level. Because remember, again, Sasuke's trying to catch up to A&W, and look at the stupidness that's going on in A&W with their obstacles.
Actually, you know what? For the record, I think the Ultra Crazy Cliffhanger Vertical Limit Kai combo is, in my opinion, the most absurd thing that Sasuke has ever created.
Yep.
It looks so absurd.
I told you, I busted out laughing. I'm sure people thought I was a crazy woman, and all of a sudden they saw what it was that I was laughing, and they're like, the hell?
It's so absurd.
I just laughed until there's no translation needed, and I just shook my head and took my seat like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, yeah.
So in the end, stage 1, we're going to relatively keep all of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a heart attack if I saw it.
Yeah.
So.
Stage 2, we're going to get rid of most of it.
Yeah, I'd have a heart attack if I saw all of it.
Stage 3, there's some stuff we like, and there's some stuff that we didn't like. The Ultimate Crazy Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And final stage, well, we didn't see any of it, but we keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, please.
I think we're in agreement.
Yeah, agreement.
All right.
Wow, that's actually as shocking as we usually have something that we.
We were actually overall pretty agreeable this time around.
Yay!
So let's finish it off with the couple of some quick questions that you amassed from people. Going back to Edie Ryder. Do you think Kakashi, a.k.a. Dave Wittenberg, should come back as the announcer for Ninja Warrior? For the answer to that is he's still doing voiceover work, so I don't see any reason why he shouldn't.
I don't know, considering that G4 was the one that hired them, and so I don't know.
Well, and there's literally nothing stopping them other than their own preference.
Now, the big question for me is, are they going to keep that format?
We'll have to see.
It'd be very interesting. If they have a longer version, that'd be fantastic. But we'll see. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see until next year.
Yes. Let's see. Plump show host. Still Emo Inuyasha. It's hilarious. I looked up information on ANW USA versus World 2016. Japan's getting replaced by Latin America. Are you still going to blog about it or not? Nope.
Yeah, the contingency has always been that Japan was in it, right?
Yeah, I've always done it as a favor to them, specifically Morimoto and Tomo. Those were the two that asked me to do that. Yeah, they were a little upset. I specifically Tomo. Morimoto wouldn't have been able to do it this year anyway, regardless of whether they were invited or not. Tomo was gunning for it, and all of a sudden, we weren't invited.
That sucks.
So,
I wonder who they're going to get from Latin America, because I
don't know. It does ANW.
Yeah.
ANW nor Ninja Warrior even airs in Latin America.
Yes, that'd be interesting.
I know Mexico picked it up, but I don't know. I know there's a list out on who's there. I don't recognize any of those people. I have no idea.
Maybe it's one of those like Canadian from France situation.
No, they're legit from those countries.
Okay, legit? Okay.
They're legit.
Fair enough. Fair.
Yeah, I can appreciate. I'm sure they had a great time. I was just more upset that Japan wasn't invited. I thought it was a pretty significant snub
to do something like that.
Yeah. I'm sure Rio was not happy going, dang it, I don't get to redeem myself. Especially after terrible 32.
Alright. Edie Ryder also asks, when it comes to American competitors in Sasuke, do you classify them differently depending on how they came onto the show? Personally, no.
I do. The American competitors in Sasuke, you have Ken Kasugi, you had Paul Hamm, you had Paul Anthony, Tarek. All those came in by themselves. Then you had the G4 ones that came in through G4. And then Drew that came in 2 different ways. Through ANW and then through Malaysia. Yeah, I have them classified differently because they're dealt with differently.
I can see what you mean, but I just see them as American competitors.
Yes.
I don't...
Overall, yes, but how they're portrayed on television is vastly different, and how NBC and G4 and all of them held them, they were vastly different as well.
For me personally, I don't care how they portray them. For me, it's all the same. It's people, and in most cases, it's people trying to get on a show that they like, and they're just going through the ways that are available to them. So fair play to them.
But the lock happens again. Now NBC's back again. You now have to go through probably A&W again. It's sort of like so it
yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. I just don't classify them differently.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
I don't let NBC dictate who they are to me. I guess it's kind of...
I see it from the invite perspective because that's how they've been discriminated before.
I see where you're coming from, but
overall, how they do is irrelevant because they're on the show. They're like any other of the 100 that are there. I'm seeing it from a logistical standpoint, so we're tackling it from 2 different angles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Also, sorry. Edie Ryder also asks, do you think there will be a Women of American Ninja Warrior?
Something tells me that they're trying to do it. Whether or not it's tied to Kunoichi, or if they're literally just gonna do that. There's enough clamor for it. Now, for the record, the way Kunoichi was done before, which is the Women of Ninja Warrior, for people that are not familiar with the name Kunoichi, the female version, the one that Ayako Miyake had won 3 times.
Hey!
And Rai Komiya.
Hey!
Ria Komiya and Satomi Kadoi are the 3... Fight me. She did it faster, too. She did it faster than Ria.
Yeah, so, I like Ria better.
Anyway, Satomi Kadoi. But those are the 3 champions, and one of them did it 3 times. And so the way that entire course was built was vastly different than how Sasuke was built. Vastly. And it is the same difficulty, but it is
very different skill set.
A completely different skill set. And we're both in agreement to ignore 8.
Yeah, well, don't you know there were 7 tournaments.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And 2 winners from this mysterious competition that count.
But still, just the idea of how different it is. I am really curious having a level playing field of having just the women do a different type of course. Rather than, hey, it's ANW with just women. If they changed it to a women-only course with those types of obstacles where everybody was a level playing field, as opposed to, hey, let's just do another Vegas. Because that's not built for the strengths and weaknesses of a woman. I think it would be a very interesting show.
It's interesting because ANW the men and women have always competed on the same course in American Ninja Warrior.
I personally like that.
Yeah, me too. But
yeah, I like it a lot.
I'm just wondering, how would they present that? Because, if you do an all-women version, it's going to be a different course, and I'm wondering if some people would perceive that, whether right or wrong, it's another story, but if some people would perceive that as, some sort of like gender discrimination, which it wouldn't be.
Considering the comments of people wanting all women to be eradicated from ANW, they're going to come up with that anyway.
There's always people on the extremes.
Yes, and quite a bit of them, especially when it came up with the wildcards this year.
They're quite vocal.
Yes, they're very, very much the extreme minority, though.
Yes.
So, but what's interesting is, though, if they did a Women of American Ninja Warrior, they would have to change it. I think, given that how they did Team Ninja Warrior, where, regardless of whether we like the rules or whatever, they proved that they can do an exciting show.
Yes.
I think they will be able to do a fantastic, basically, WANW.
Yeah.
But it has to be different. And considering that ANW is almost all upper body, just even doing all lower body would be vastly different than ANW.
Actually, it's interesting. I think ANW might be, we talked about how, ANW used to be more parkour, and now it's more rock climbing. Mm-hmm. I think they're just overall better at doing parkour style courses, and the all-women version would probably be more akin to like a parkour style thing, so it probably would end up being a more exciting show.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be interesting. You know what? I'd be down for them to do it, as long as they do it right.
Exactly. And that's what, whether or not I think they'll do it, I'm more on the 60-40 yes. Because just, there's enough clamor for it, and they can actually build an entire spin-off off of this. They
have Jesse, they have Casey, they have Michelle, they have Megan. They could build the show around those women, as well as the other women who have been rising up and have been getting people's attentions and stuff. You have those people as like the poster women of the show, and you can bring people in and with the ratings and all that stuff, and it also allows them to potentially find more female stars, because it's very clear that they want more female stars.
Well, yeah, that's their rating demographic that they keep winning.
Yeah. So
people don't actually break down the ratings. I do ratings all the time, and I have been for years. The fear that I have is that they're just going to throw that on Esquire. What I would hope that they would do is to have something like that either as a preseason or postseason special. Don't do this whole big regionals, blah 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 blah. Just have just as a separate thing. Just have and it doesn't have to be in Vegas, because they would have to redo that entire course.
Yeah, do it in
if it's an Esquire, nobody's gonna see it.
Do it in Arizona.
Location is irrelevant. I meant in general, as a have a separate event rather than tack it on to. Yeah, it's time, too much.
If you're going to do it, it would have to. I want it to be like a Midoriyama style. It has to be a 4-stage obstacle course. You don't need regionals. You really don't need regionals.
Well, that's what Kunoichi was. It was a 4-stage course.
Just invite 100 women to do the course, and please make it 100, because I'm really tired of seasons of ANW where less than 100 people make it to Vegas. Like, seriously, could it have killed you guys to invite 10 more people as wild cards?
What? I'm not...
There's 90 people in Vegas this year.
Really?
They're so close to 100. Yes, because 75 people qualified through regionals, and they invited 15 wild cards. And I think most of them are women, if not all of them. And it's just like, I know some people don't like the fact that it's just women. I don't like the fact that they didn't invite 25 people instead of 15. It's like, who cares?
Okay, that's really stupid.
Most of them would have failed. Just do the full 100, please.
No, I agree. If nothing else, I think less of the clamor of why didn't you invite, this person, that person that happens to be male. Why didn't you get these guys since you had plenty of space in the roster? I was under the impression that they just ran up against 100 and then they did. No. I had no idea that there were less than 100.
This is not the first time they've had less than 100 either.
Wow.
This is, I believe this is the third time there's been less than 100.
Okay, that's also a fundamental difference between the two shows. Do they have their saddlecloths out in the open?
No. God, no. There's no numbers.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because Sasuke is all about the numbers. Heck, even how you're chosen, what number you are. Each number has a specific connotation. Some of them have very special meanings. Like, oh my god, why did this person get 31? Oh my god, why did this person get 88? What's so important about 88? They have specific meanings, and so...
The only time there was any semblance of an order and a reasoning for that order was ANW 4, where they said that the people's orders were based on their placing, how they placed in the regional finals. So the final 6 people were all the people who took first place in their respective regionals.
Okay, that makes sense. That's
the only time that on TV that they presented some kind of order. Ever since then, it's just been however they wanted to edit. And that's why when they showed Ryan Stratus as the first run this year, I immediately knew that he failed. Because they never, ever start with a clear on A&W.
Well, yeah, because that's how they do their what's it called? That's how they edit. They don't edit how the event happened. Exactly.
It's how they want to present it to you.
Yep. And heck, even how they did the editing for Ninja Warrior. They started to completely change it because they had it by clear times. Well, Sasuke doesn't do by clear times. They're stuck to that saddlecloth. Yeah. So whatever number that they ran in that number. So even if people get eliminated in between, you know where you're going to run at all times. As opposed to ANW has changed drastically, where you can control where you run in the latter stages by how fast you cleared, or fast or slow, however.
And you have situations where
the famous hand hover, yeah.
I mean, fair play to him. Like,
yes, it was within the rules. I just did not like it.
He's not the one who made the rules, so fair play to him, and I get why he did that.
Well, of course, because I mean, you would take advantage of the rules because those are the rules, and that it ultimately it didn't favor him at the end.
No, he.
However, was.
By the way, we're talking about Brian Arnold in ANW 6. He elected to wait before pressing the button, so he would go earlier in stage 2 to give himself more rest.
20 seconds?
It was something. It was a lot. And he wanted to give himself more rest time in between stage 2 and 3. Unfortunately, by his own admission, he went too early in the lineup and was unable to adjust to the changes of stage 2. He didn't get to see enough runs ahead of time, so he couldn't develop a good enough strategy, and it ultimately cost him.
Yeah, but the famous hand hover where they actually showed his run, and then he started to celebrate. You can tell he was slowing down, and then in itself, and there's people, that would do that. But then all of a sudden he realized, oh crap, I have a hell of a lot more time left on the clock. And then he had his hand over the button. And everybody's like, the hell are you doing?
Even Matt and Akbar were like, wait, what? What? What's going on?
That was the first time that it was overt. That had existed, I think, at that point by 2-3 seasons. But this is the first time where you really noticed it, where all of a sudden just he came to a grinding halt, hit the button, and he's thinking, nope, I'm not hitting the button yet. Nope. And it's like, oh my god, oh god, the boards exploded on that one.
Imagine.
It was perfectly legal. I just hated every second of it. Oh my god.
Could you imagine if he had screwed up and, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, didn't hit the button in time?
You do realize this almost happened in Sasuke. In Sasuke, you had Shinya Kishimoto. He, the klaxon is always 2 seconds. Right. So you hear 4 klaxons before you hear the, time up gun. Right. So he's coming up, I think it was the Lumberjack. And he starts slowing down because he thought he heard 2 klaxons. He didn't hear the third. So he's slowing down. All of his friends are literally having a coronary going, you got no time left, run! And he's like waving to the crowd, he's good, and all of a sudden he hits the button. And then he looks over, and it was 0 point something seconds left. He's like, oh my god. And they actually cut his run. Oh. It was just like, that would have been amazing. So I saw that run, and it just, you can see his face. This was Sasuke 30. Yeah, because I wasn't there for that one. That was Sasuke 30. And it's like, oh. So people that have gotten the only DVD ever made of Sasuke, which was Sasuke 30, that would be on that video. It was just hilarious.
So by the way, some breaking news, according to SMF from user King Awesome 34. Apparently, Esquire is running commercials for Ninja Warrior this weekend.
About freaking time. I'll look for that at the end of this broadcast. Yeah, okay. Yes, it's 3 days away.
Well,
it's like, come on, guys, 3 days
better
away.
Than no days away.
What I had wished is that they had some sort of commercial during finals on Monday. Yeah, because that would have been, watch where this came from, blah 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 blah. Especially, they spent millions getting this license back. You would think that they actually do some, come on,
Arsenette, you're being silly. Cross promotion? Why would they want to do that?
To be fair, they didn't even cross promote Team Ninja Warrior.
No, yeah, that's true too.
They did not. So but Esquire should have run their own commercials. So at least, if they're Tuesday. That means that they're actually, this is a Tuesday, by the way, they're actually running commercials during the rebroadcast of finals on Esquire. Yay! Cool. That's good. So people that are already watching that run.
Cross promotion.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah. Yay! Okay. Thank you, Esquire. Oh. All right. Again, though, it's not like it's never going to come back again. It's just a premiere after 5 freaking years. So we'll see. Let's see. I think one more question. A couple more questions. One was to me. This was from Lusitania Angel Emily from SMF. What was your reaction to the All-Star runs? You saw all 3 in their full glory. So what are your thoughts? It was funny because both Shingo and Takeda were so nervous that they were going to totally screw it up like they did last year. Because the embarrassment of failing on the first obstacle after they were basically showboating going, yeah, I got this. Because they both thought, Shingo thought that he was going to screw up the music box. And then Takeda thought that he was going to clear. And then all of a sudden, you get the back-to-back fails in horrendous fashion. So this year they were determined to not screw up, and then they saw the combination and they're going, oh god. So they took their time, and they're like, okay, we don't want to screw this up. This is Nagano's last chance. So we want to all see if we can clear this first stage. So they did well. I felt bad for them. You can tell that the change between the 2 days, first of all, it was really long for them because they were out all the night before, having to, again, being stars, you're forced to watch all of them, and then the hurry up and wait, that was a lot of hours, and then have to come back the following day. This following day was a very different thing. You can tell that this is Nagano's last run, and that was their body language. So they were like a little disjointed. They weren't really upset either when they failed. So it was, I mean, I'm not going to say that they weren't, but it was very, the atmosphere was very different with them. So I didn't have like a big negative reaction. There wasn't really a lot of, okay, here are his two friends. Okay, it's Nagano's run. And that's how it felt like. And that was so it was very different. So it was nothing like anybody had seen before. And at least it wasn't the embarrassment. And it was, so people, they were clapping like, okay, in fact, there was this huge thunderous roar after they both passed the rolling hill. So I thought that was really funny. And I think, if I'm again going by memory, I thought Shingo, when he got to the bottom of that, right before the TIE fighter, he turned around and did the arm pump because he passed the rolling hill. If I'm not mistaken, that's what Shingo did. Takada was more focused on getting all the way through. Shingo was still terrified of the music box, so he thought he was going to totally fail there. So, but yeah, most of it was, get through and try to get to Nagano's run, and that was basically the atmosphere, because Shingo was falling apart before any of that started happening, and you can tell just even with Nagano's run, he was just falling apart. So, yep. And then your question to Will, what did you think of the runs that you saw? It's hard to react to all the All-Stars when their runs were digested aside from Nagano's.
I don't really know what else to say that I didn't really say last month, but it was just kind of like, I just thought it sucked. Nagano just really bummed me out to the point where it affected my ability to enjoy the rest of the show. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted stage 2 didn't help, and the rain and stage 3 didn't help either, mm-hmm. but there was a very clear effect still. Mm-hmm. And with Takada and Shingo, it was just it was weird because they got fluff pieces and then they got fast forward, and so it was, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No.
At least to that degree.
They pulled an ANW.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, oh man, it's almost kind of like having the carpet pull from underneath you, where it's like you get all excited and all of a sudden, like just like that, it's like, oh, they failed. It's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I told you already what mine was, where it was so fast, and here I'm trying to do a screen cap of, the final, ritual caning. For people that don't have no idea what they're talking about, just look at Strat and Bernardo in ANW, where they do the back slap. These were the originators, Nagano and Takada. And so I did a screen cap of that, posted it on Twitter. When I came back, it was Nagano's run. I'm like, wait, what? Oh my god, they just cut Shingo and Takada. And then somebody told me later that they were fast forwarded. I'm like, wait. Like, I didn't even, to give you an idea, and then going back to Emily's question with mine, I almost forgot where they failed. Because the predominant thought was, oh god, Nagano. You know what I mean? I remember Takada getting far. And then, when he fell on the wall, I think it was?
It was the warped wall.
Yeah. And it was most embarrassment for him, going like, you gotta be kidding, that's what took me out. That's how he was like, oh, come on. Because he trained hard now. Now that he's a personal trainer, he just trains differently. And he's like, oh man. So that's why he wants to come back, because he's like, he needs a good run before he retires. It's like, come on, man. This embarrassment. I gotta get out of the freaking first stage again. And then
I can respect that.
Yeah, where did Shingo fail again?
He failed the double pendulum.
Okay, so he did pass the. I know he passed the music box. I didn't know how far into the. Okay. Now I have that. I have that memorized in my head now. Yes, I remember it happened. In fact, I saw it when it was happening, and it's like he's not. Yep, there we go. That's how it was. Just like, no, that's not how you do that. But again, that's why I like the obstacle, because if you screw up a little bit on that entry, and you lose that momentum, it's over. A lot of people that failed the double pendulum did the same thing, where they spent either they got onto the bar badly, or like they screwed up the jump, or they swung so much that their arms were tired, or it's a whole timing thing. When you see somebody that does it perfectly, it just looks easy. But it really isn't. So that's again another obstacle. You have to really commit, and yeah, Shingo did not commit. So that's it on that one, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the last thing that I had, just as a thought, because I noticed that our audience is very different than most podcasts, and so I decided to ask a question.
Our podcast audiences are all cool people.
So I did this on my Twitter, just on a lark, and I did that early last week. I ran it for like 2-3 days. Total 26 people voted. Thank you, people that follow me on Twitter. The question was, what platform do you listen on? So I had it, the only 3 platforms that we do have it on, which is YouTube, iTunes, and Podbean. I was not surprised that nobody picked Podbean. No. I was surprised with why. Emily came up with, and she says, YouTube for me too. And it's like, why? Because it's easy to bounce around the episode because of the timestamps, and Podbean can't use the time codes, and she never uses iTunes except for music, and that's a separate thing. But the time codes thing, I thought it was interesting that it doesn't happen on Podbean.
Well, it's just something that YouTube programmed into their website, where you can click on a timestamp and it'll bring the video to that point. And it works quite well. I use it all the time. Very well. It's very convenient.
Especially for the 4-hour ones.
Yeah, that was. What do you mean 4-hour ones? We've only done it once.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not get we might not have a podcast if we did more.
For the record, which I found hilarious, somebody had told me on the previous episode, that broadcast was actually longer than Sasuke.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was true, which was really funny. And considering that it was actually longer than Sasuke, and that Sasuke had commercials. Sorry. Now, we didn't all talk about Sasuke, and I think I like that as well, where, if somebody just wants to skip, just want to get to, hey, this one thing, they can jump back and forth. So iTunes was 23%, YouTube was 77%. So, and that makes sense, especially when we're looking at the data of who's listening and whatever. So I just thought it was interesting, and the reasoning why behind certain things. I listen on both. Just in general, I've been using the podcast app on my phone a lot, and so I actually prefer iTunes in general. But for the longer ones, it is interesting that I do use the YouTube one, so I can skip back and forth on whatever topics that I'm looking for. So I just thought it was interesting. But yes, thank you for those who participated in that. Please keep up with the comments. We do read them and really enjoy them, and I'm very happy that people are a lot more participatory. They participate more in the conversations, and please continue to send any questions and comments and stuff, and we do appreciate them. And for those who listen on iTunes, thank you. Feel free to try to communicate with us there as well. You can always leave a rating, or review, or whatever. We'd love to hear you, you guys that actually do listen through iTunes. And thank you for those who also write to us on Twitter, because I get a lot. I get a lot of comments on that, and usually questions and stuff like, okay, I have to send this over to William.
So, I was told that my Brexit joke from a couple months ago was really funny. I appreciated that.
I get a lot of William questions on mine.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
You get more William questions than I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess because I'm
They could just ask me.
I'm also a lot chattier on Twitter.
I reply.
Yes, you do.
Just ask me. I'll reply.
So if you do have questions for William, send it to him as well. I'll try to forward as many of them as possible.
Yeah. I'm approachable.
Well, go ahead and tell him yours, because it probably is a little bit easier because mine is my name.
Okay, so yeah, my Twitter is the number 2, the letter D, the number 2, and then Will.
Yeah, 2D2 Will.
Exactly.
Yeah. Besides.
By the way, I listen to the podcast on my computer because I edit it. Mm-hmm. And I have to listen to it to know where to put the timestamps.
I tell you one thing though, I really do appreciate it, because if anything, a lot of people really do appreciate that you take the time to do that. In fact, was it last month or the month before?
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
It was the June episode, yeah.
Yeah, where it accidentally posted before you had the opportunity to do timestamps, and someone's like, hey, you don't have the timestamps! So it proves people actually pay attention to the timestamps. So thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. You do a great job, our audio engineer.
I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just a guy who puts two audio tracks in Audacity and tries to make it work.
Yes, that's audio engineering.
That's like saying That's like saying I'm an electrician because I replaced the light bulb. I don't see that as the same thing.
You do a lot of work, especially when you have to isolate voices because their recording didn't come out right. So yes, you do a lot of work. So even if you're, self-deprecated, you do a good job. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you for listening to the Final Stage Podcast. My name is William. You can find me on Twitter at 2D2Will, in case you forgot. I am also on YouTube at 222 Productions and at 2-2. And those are also the names of my websites, 222productions.com and 2-2.com. So check those out, please. That stuff. I would really appreciate it.
Yep.
You can find us at finalstagepodcast.com, where you can find all of these episodes. And if you want, you can also find us on iTunes. Leave a review if you want. She'll read it.
I'll read it.
She'll read it. And if you want, and this is completely optional, you can leave a tip on the YouTube True 22 Productions channel. And that's about it. What about you?
Yep. Same place as usual, ramblingregan.com, and then my Twitter and my YouTube is Arsenette, ARSENETTE, and my Instagram is ramblingregan. Yeah, and so once again, thank you for listening, and it's now time for the closing ceremonies of our event. Let's watch as the Prime Minister of Japan comes out of a warp pipe dressed as Mario. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
We'll see you in 2020.